It's Angie Rupert, founder of Rupert Law. We handle exclusively E2 and E1 visas, so no matter what treaty country you're from or where you want to be, we can help. Today I want to talk about opening, starting, or buying a manufacturing business in order to pursue the E2 visa. Can you do it? Yeah, definitely. You can, as long as you meet the E2 visa requirements, right? So let's talk a little bit about the challenges of starting or buying a manufacturing business and applying for the E2 visa. So number one is expense or cost, right? So really important to note that there is a substantial investment requirement. I'm sure you all know that. However, sometimes people think that it's a $100,000 investment. That is not the case. The requirement is that the investment is substantial. So if you are starting or buying a manufacturing business, it may be significantly more than $100,000, right? If you're buying a business that manufactures goods, it might be in the millions that you need to invest, okay? Keep in mind that if you are buying a business, there's a proportionality test, which is how we get to the substantial investment. Let me give you an example. If you were going to buy a business that was valued at $100,000, you would need to invest $100,000. Now you're at 100% of the fair market value of that business. But what about if your business is more expensive than that? Right? So in the case of a manufacturing business, what if you want to buy a manufacturing business that has a fair market value of $2 million? You may need to invest $1 million of your own personal investment. That's a 50% investment of personal funds and 50% maybe that's on some sort of seller financing or a loan, something like that. But keep that in mind. So that sometimes can be a catch with a business that manufactures. They tend to be much more expensive. And so your substantial investment could be a lot more, right? Other things to consider. The good news about buying an existing manufacturing business or starting a manufacturing business is, generally speaking, if you're buying something, you will likely already have employees, which is amazing. Just be sure to get those I-9s from every employee that works at any business you're buying, whether it's manufacturing or not. If you're starting a manufacturing business, obviously there's going to be need for employees, which is great. That really helps to solidify that you meet that marginality requirement, okay? Another thing to consider when thinking about buying or starting a manufacturing business is timing. So if you're buying a manufacturing business and you've already located that business by the time you contact us, maybe you haven't purchased it or signed any documents, but you kind of know which one you're ready to buy, that can cut down on your time significantly. If you are starting a manufacturing business and then planning to pursue the E2 visa, remember that that business needs to be real and operational, right? That's one of the requirements. So sometimes it takes a lot longer to get to that real and operational if you have to set up an assembly line or other types of manufacturing equipment or items in order to start producing whatever it is that you're going to produce. So keep that in mind as well. Do you have any other questions about the E2 visa, whether you're manufacturing or some other type of business? Give us a call anytime. We'd love to speak with you about your E2 visa.